Hi, I'm Lindsay. I honestly think it's kind of a lifelong journey. Had a little bit of a rough childhood, and so reaching out to people has always been a challenge. There's definitely been some times in life where it's been more pronounced than others. As I've gotten older, I've definitely found the value, and especially since the pandemic, in connecting and investing more deliberate time into those connections so you don't feel alone. I've struggled with depression for quite some years. I think having kids has really brought that to the forefront in the sense that you kind of get a little bit of a mirror effect, and you see your children struggle and with the same things in a much fresher way. Everything that you know that you should be doing to not be depressed, you're kind of doing the opposite. You're staying indoors, you're not talking to anybody, you're isolating. And really you're buying into a really negative internal narrative, and it affects your perspective on everything. With a lot of trends on social media, I think there's a double down on this idea that if you are having a negative experience, or you are not living your best life, or being positive, that there's a stigma attached to that. And so it makes it really difficult. And when you've done remote work and your outreach to the outside world primarily through virtual telecommunications, that if you don't present in a certain way, it reinforces that sense of shame in the first place. Because I think there is a tendency that for a person to reach out and be like, hey, are you okay? And the first cover story is like, yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah. But then, having the actual intimate connection with another person where you create that space and hold that space for another person to be like, actually, no, I'm not okay. Like, I've been struggling with this. Is that second layer of approach or breach into a person's bubble. And that's, I feel like that's the more difficult one. And I think that takes a special kind of attentiveness, but also sincerity when you're actually reaching out. So sometimes don't always accept the first answer. I know for myself personally, I get really wrapped up in all the stuff I've got going on, and it's just easy to get to the end of the day and be like, man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta sit down. And then, sometimes those relationships fall by the wayside. But I have a couple kids who go to East High School, and so they were there last week, and it just made me think, like, maybe we all just need to slow down and just spend that extra time and really just be present. I think sometimes anxiety and depression is closely related to living too far into the future or existing too far into the past. So the best thing we can do for each other is to remain present and be present for one another. And it's absolutely okay and natural not to feel okay.